I've never been able to figure out how many times a year Jaboticaba fruit. I suppose if I started marking it on a calendar, maybe I could do that. But it seems like they fruit, they stop, they fruit, they stop, they fruit, they stop, and they do it multiple times each year. This plant here behind me is really loaded. It's got a very nice crop. Unfortunately, it's really going high up too. There's a lot of it way up I can't even get to, but I have plenty of it down here. Nuts. This one's a particularly good tree, although I have a better one. Very tasty. Yep, all the way from down there at the root ground level, going on up the tree, heading on up, going up, and they're up and up and up, all the way to the top. Now, this tree and the previous, all grown from seed. They took about 7 years. Here's a partner here, again, about the same, 7 years from a seed. But this tree right here, this tree has the best tasting and sweetest fruit of all of my trees. But at times it's also susceptible to a rust fungus. That's a good one. And this one over here, it's not susceptible to rust fungus, but it's later by a little bit. You see, it's more green fruit, just a little bit, maybe a few days, but it's bigger. This is the biggest Jaboticaba. Well, this one here is the green or the white Jaboticaba. It came to bearing in only about 4 years. This is a faster tree. Now, these fruits are actually ripe when they're like this. Oh man. Wow. These are sweeter, juicier, and the skin isn't as acidic as on the black Jaboticabas like Sabra. This one is the peach Jaboticaba. Now, it's been here, I guess since about 2016. Joe Hewitt's the one who sent the seeds for this in, I think, from Brazil. I have not yet seen any fruit on this tree, and I haven't seen any flowers. So this one's going to take a while, I guess, but it does make a large orange fruit. Here's another one. This is Plenia elata. It's been here the same period of time, about 2016, 9 years from a seed. It has yet to make anything either, but it makes something that looks like a big backwards yellow fig, according to the photographs. Well, this thing here is Plenia grandiflora. Well, it would mean, big flowered Jaboticaba. It's a slow-growing dwarf little thing. I don't think it likes as much sunlight as it's getting out here. It seems to always be a little sunburned. And it has made fruit. They're little gnarly pea-sized brown things with leathery skin. The fruit is not worth eating. So growing here on the property, I have 5 different types of Jaboticabas. Each and every one of them quite distinct from each other. How many there are, I've never looked into it. 5 was enough for me. I know here on the island, commonly propagated, there are 2 forms of the black. That one, the one's Sabra, and right now the other name doesn't come to mind. But the Planet Hawaii over here does sell 2 different forms. But they're quite similar. I've seen, growing them from seed, variations in the plant. They all look about the same. Yeah, I have not noticed very much difference in appearance on the stuff we have here for on the black Jaboticabas. But there is a lot. I have one that's very sweet. It's also susceptible to rust fungus on the skin. The rest are good, but not as sweet, not susceptible to rust fungus. Those all took somewhere between, 7 and 10 years to come into bearing. I've had people tell me about trees that took 25, and I do have some of that sort here that they may very well take that long. I know there's a few of them here have been in since 2007. Their had never fruited yet. Variation is tremendous. I used to bring seeds for the black Jaboticaba back to California with me and try to grow them. They always died during the winter. Yet, a forester at Quarry Lakes Regional Park in Fremont, Dave, he brought some up from a nursery in Southern California. Again, it's black fruited Jaboticaba, and he planted them in Fremont, and well, they were thriving, fruiting, thriving. Gophers, ground squirrels were getting most of the fruit, but it was they were growing fine there. So there's a lot of variation in hardiness, a lot of variation in how long it takes these things to come into fruit. They don't air layer well, and they're not particularly fond of being grafted, although that can be done. They're just a lot easier growing them from a seed. Now, as far as the green ones, the green one I'd sampled is distinctly different in that it only took me 4 years to get a bush up to begin to fruit. Now, I haven't seen an enormous fruiting on it yet, and it is very susceptible to the birds due to the rather thin skin. They're all bad with birds. The birds just love them. You go out there, you see how much there was. We'll go out there 2 days from now, there'll be nothing on the tree because it'll all be on the ground with holes in it if I don't pick it. They're a fruit that is a little difficult to figure out how to process, but more on that later, I guess. So far, I've only managed to fruit the black ones and the green ones, so I don't know what I think of the peach Jaboticaba yet. I'm looking forward to it. And I've seen photographs of them. I know people do fruit them here. How long that's going to take, though, I don't know. The tree's been there 2016. Yeah. You know, as far as using the fruit is concerned, people who make jellies, yeah, it's very suitable for making jelly. It should make a wonderful jelly. I don't usually do foods that use a lot of added sugar, though. And jellies and preserves are pretty much off my list. I made some jalapeno sweet pepper jelly recently, but that was more vinegar than sugar. Yeah. Well, yeah, so I don't do that kind of thing much, but I'm sure it would work fine. I have juiced them. And they will juice, but I actually think that the kind of extractor that my stepfather used to use for wine, screw press with a shredder and a screw press, and would be the best way. Juice them like a grape. I'm pretty sure is the best way to go. I was using a rotary centrifugal juicer on them, and it plugs up the screen. I get too much there's pulp in there, and the pulp blocks everything up. And you really got to mess with it. So that isn't the way. Crushing, really, I think, is the best way to get the juice out of them. The juice, when it comes out, of course, is absolutely delicious to drink. Makes a good daiquiri. But it's also, I found, freezing it. I would freeze the stuff for the nursery, because if I was going to try to sell people trees and the trees weren't fruiting, so they never had one, then I could go in the freezer and bring out a cube of frozen juice and say, here, try this. Makes a great popsicle. Yeah, don't need to do anything to it at all, really, to make a popsicle out of Jaboticaba juice. Very refreshing. So there you have it. Now, I'm sure there may be a few other ways, but that is the main problem with the fruit. I'd say jelly, wine, juice, fresh eating. I don't know of anything else I really want to do with it. Okay. And Sal, aloha.